So we've got 16.
All right,
in
so
this
we've
one.
got 16 in this category, minimalist. So always an interesting category to judge,
No, we've got
and
third.
we'll be interested to see what happens here. So we have the first image up, please, and it's called Sunset Spoonbill. Okay, we have an initial score of 8.48, which is pretty even across the panel, but we'll have a comment for the photographer from Lynn, please.
Thank you. It's a beautiful image, and lost my photograph. The only concern I had really about this was its positioning in the frame. I felt it could have been just a little lower and slightly left rather than so central. I love the background and the colours. It's very, very lovely photograph. It's not a gold photograph, but it's something that people would be happy with. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. We'll accept that score and we'll move to the next image, which is called Raindrop. Okay, we've got an 8.6 and fairly even sort of attitude across the panel. Perhaps, Michael, I'm going to accept that score. Michael, you can make a comment for the photographer, please.
Yeah, look, I gave it 8.8. I'm not really asking to go up, but I think what they've managed to do here by making a foreground font totally out of focus has created that minimal look. I think it's very intelligently done. Well done.
Thank you very much, Michael. We'll accept that score. And we'll move to the next image, which is called Discard. Okay, it's always interesting how simple images create quite emotional responses. So I think we will talk about this one. We have 8.8 to start with, and I think to take it away to begin with, we'll start with Jackie.
I just got a 9.2.
Mm.
It's a beautiful little artwork that seems to be maybe it is of other artworks, which maybe made you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But the artwork of somebody using their iron and seeing how the ironing board is a little artwork in itself, with the box and the square and the painting on the wall. It's kind of gorgeous. All the parts that come together to make a whole here was a powerful whole for me, and I think it's that beautiful red and the blues, all the colors. I should have been braver and gone higher.
Thank you, Jackie. At the other end of the scale is Michael at score and reason.
Yeah. Okay, I gave this 83, mainly because I didn't see this as minimalistic. So I guess I'm reading the word, and having just listened to Jackie's description, her description wasn't minimal either. And so that's the reason why I gave it the score. Having said that, Jackie's description made me like the image a lot.
Okay, it's a very likable image. Lynn, let's hear what you've got to say.
I'm with Jackie. It's a stunning image. When I first saw it, I thought maybe it's not minimal enough, but actually all the compartments in it are minimal, and then they've put them together, and I think it still fits the category quite nicely. So I think it's worthy of a gold. Beautiful work. I'd hang that on my wall quite happily.
Thank you. Just remembering, guys, that people have chosen these images already to be in these categories, so you don't really need to worry about judging whether they should or should not be in the category. Just judge the image. So bring it home, Jack.
Yeah, I think Mike, minimal distractions. There's nothing in this photograph that you would take away or take out to make it stronger. Len has pretty well said it all, but don't you just love that little slit at the end of the ironing board? It makes it so personable, and the man-made marks in here are perfectly balanced with the rest of the textures.
So initial score 8.8. I think we can give this a little kick in the pants too, guys, don't you?
Five or
score.
something. Yeah.
Three score, eh? Well done. It's reached 9.02. It'll sit comfortably with the other nines, I think. Well scored, well discussed, and we'll move to the next image. Thank you. We've got a beautiful little one here of a white-fronted turn-wing touch. So white-fronted turn-wing touch. Okay, so already it's just squeaked in to the nines, with the first one with the three digits after it, 9.056. But I think it's still worth discussion, to be honest. So, Mike, you take this one away.
Yeah, interesting, because I was just about to say, gee, I'd really like to change my score on this, but I can't. I gave it 9.3, but I think it's probably worth 9.5, 9.6. because I can't see fault with it. I see it as original. I see it as incredibly well captured. Every element of this is perfect. And I got it wrong at 9.3. So please help.
Okay, well, Rachel, you help him out, mate.
Yeah, I scored at 9.2 and I'm happy to bump that score right up, Mike. But for the very same reason, anyone that's spent any time photographing birds knows just how difficult this type of capture is. And as a minimalist image, that delicate beauty and just that very subtle ripple where the wings touching the water really, really brings it home as well done. And also with subjects that have leading edges that have so much white exposed and those white dots in the background, which are probably other out of focus birds. I think it's been beautifully controlled and handled so that those things aren't blown out or distracting or anything like that. So as Mike said, it's faultless.
Cool. Can you add anything to that, Jack?
No, I'm just listening, coming up.
Great. So let's rescore and.
Can I say something?
Oh, you want to have a bring it home, Mike?
Oh, no, it's Chris.
Oh, yeah, but I haven't asked you, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Michael, do you want to bring it home?
No, I think it's just good that people reassess what they're doing. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you, mate. So let's use the keyboards, guys. It's over 9 already, but let's perhaps relook at that. Rescore, please. Well done. That's all counts in the end. 9.28. Well judged there, panel. Accept that score. Good discussion. We'll go to the next image, and we have Alaskan Sunrise. We have fairly even attitude across 4 of the judges, but one's particularly in support of it, and it's Michael. So, Michael, tell us your score and what you're thinking.
Yeah, I gave this 9.8. And the reason for that is I actually felt this landscape and this life and this everything about it is minimal. Everything just says to me, out on the edge of civilization, and there is nothing beyond this. It sort of echoed the word for me, and I looked at that. It says lonely, it says isolated, it says all those words that relate to the subject and the place and everything that's happening. I just found it incredibly emotive.
Thank you, Michael. On the other end of the scale, in the next room is Jackie.
I was on 8.3, listening to you, Mike. And as I look at it, I felt a heaviness, mostly from those mid-tones, the darker blues and that are reflecting in there. And that was taking my eye a little bit away from that subject. But I can lift my score, but I'm not sure I can go into the 90s. The beautiful placement, yeah, but there's a bit of a scuff on the right-hand side on the water. A few questions we were asking, and also that dark heaviness that I felt.
So, Chris, you're in support of the image as well. What are you thinking, buddy?
Yeah, well, I didn't put it into gold. So I was 88. It just speaks of a lonely planet, doesn't it? The polar bear searching, the way it sits there. I mean, it is beautiful for all the reasons that we've all spoken of, but for me, it doesn't get to gold.
Okay, and I think, Lynn, I want to hear from you too in this one.
I concur really with Chris and Jackie. I feel that the right-hand side detracts from the beauty of the bear and the landscape. It would still be minimalism without that right-hand side. So for me, it's not gold either. It's a great.
Okay, I think we'll rescore on that, and it's already at 8.8. So thank you very much, guys. Pretty much same 8.84. Good discussion for the photographer, though, and we'll accept that score and we'll move to the next image, which is the summit. Well, there's some strong support from 4 of the panel. So, Lynn, you can take this one away. Tell us your score, and you are the highest score. What is your score and why?
Well, 9.3. I think it's an amazing image, a great study in greens. The positioning of the little critter is in the perfect place against the lighter background. It's pin sharp. Maybe you could crop a little off the base, but really I thought it was definitely a gold image.
Thank you. Jackie, what are your thoughts? What are your score?
Right, I might have missed this one. I'm on 8. I just felt it was set up. bit too much for me. The lighting, the background, the minimalism. I guess it is. That's what it's about. The minimalism of the background. But maybe you just needed a bit more of a gesture for me. A little arm of that critter reaching out, doing something. It just seemed a bit still. If you can answer some of those questions, I'll be.
Next time we'll ask the bug if they can do that. Okay,
Yeah.
Chris, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, I've given it gold, so it's just tweaked into gold. Would have been even more beautiful if that little bug was perfectly situated within that grey panel that's behind it, so it's just slightly to the right. But I don't normally like titles, but how cute is that? The summit. Yeah, it just makes me smile. Hey, you know, it's so clean and simple and effective.
Okay, well, then you bring it home, girl.
Yes, I can't tell you, Jackie, whether or not this thing's dead and been stuck there or whether it was a lucky find. But its feelers are out, moving around, and I think that you could probably, love it a little more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
So let's get the feelers out, and it's on 8.8 and see where it ends up. 8.96 is the resulting score. We'll accept that. And next image, please. We have Delicate Blues. Okay, there's strong support for this image across the panel. However, it does engender some conversation. It's scored 9.04, so basically a 9. But Jackie, you're on strong support here, and I think maybe you might help these boys to think about it again.
Yeah, look, I still resonate with this image, judging it when I was judging it online. I see it now again. I judge it 9.8 because of that strong connection I've got with this very soft, delicate, deliberate, narrow depth of field. It could be lens baby, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. That there's a flow to it, that little darkness, the little areas of darkness that move your eye up to the left and flow out to the right. And there's a flowing feel to the whites that are pushing you out to the right-hand side. A very a point of that holds your eye is that portrait in the middle of that petal. That's kind of, it's strong enough. I think it's enduring. I think it's a very deliberate photograph and sophisticated. And 9.9, very different, big gold.
Thank you very much, Jackie. The rest of you are pretty close to each other, so let's see if we can find the emotion Jackie's found there. Michael, you're pretty much at the lower end. Still
Yeah, I'm
a
coming
good
up,
score.
don't worry.
Okay.
Don't panic.
All right. No, I'm not panicking, but why are you coming up?
The longer I'm looking at this, the more I'm seeing, which is surprising because we're looking at something that's very minimal. But all of a sudden, I'm seeing a little piece of green sort of almost oozing out of the center there. I'm finding that captivating. I'm finding that holding my interest. It's adding more to the picture, even though it's kept its minimal status. So I'm going up because I'm finding it more interesting.
Thank you, Michael. Good comment. Lynn?
It's beautiful, it's ethereal, well handled, and the detail in the main petal, I think, makes this very strong. So I'm in the gold category.
Thank you very much, Lynn. I think we can, we've all had a little bit of time to take on a subtle image, so let's rescore.
What about
It's
me?
already on a 9, but I think we can help it out there, don't you? Let's rescore. Well done, troops. Appreciate that. It's now a 9.26. So that'll be in the running there somewhere, hopefully. And we'll accept that score and we'll have the next image. Good conversation. Emperor Penguin Bonding. Okay, we have our scores in and we're all fairly close. It's just shy of 9 at 8.8 and perhaps Chris at 9.1. You can perhaps speak to the image.
Well, firstly, I love the way that it's not dead center. That would almost be just so obvious because of the symmetrical design of these two penguins coming together. We see a lot of, these penguins. Sometimes I wonder whether the artistry of this is God's art. So this celebration is how gorgeous these penguins are, but the photographer it's not that simple just to go out and shoot this. So, I think I ask what the photographer has brought to
Okay.
this, and it's an incredible capture, and it's captured it beautifully. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I struggled with this, mainly because of the lack of eye on both penguins, and also it's not incredibly sharp on the point of the two tips. Uh, I'm sort of looking at it as being a nature shot, not a minimal shot, and I think that the space on the left-hand side is too big. I agree with you, Chris, but I think there's too much space on the left-hand side, and it's made it symmetrical because of the equal space. So I haven't gone into the golds at all with this.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I'm going to accept that score actually where it's at. The panel's pretty close to each other, but the photographer will appreciate those contributions. We'll move on. Thank you. Next print. The Colour of Winter. Thank you for that. Well, we have very even scoring across the panel apart from one person. And I think I'm going to accept that score, but Lynn, perhaps you can support the image with for the photographer.
I think it's a beautiful image. Minimalism, definitely. Their choice of amount of base and where they put the horizon, I think, is really good. I know it's very simple, but sometimes these things grow on you, and I can sit and look at that for hours and see different shapes and maybe a bird's nest in the tree, who knows, but I'm enjoying it immensely. So
Thank you, Lynn. We'll accept that score and we'll move to the next image, which is called 12 Miles Out. Okay, we have a score of 8.5 pretty much, and it's pretty even across the board. So I'm going to accept that score, but a comment for the photographer, perhaps, Rachel.
Yeah, there's beautiful composition here, lovely lines that lead you through to the crest and the slight curl on the edge of the wave. Nicely balanced highlights. It's a really pleasing image. I guess it's really hard with a minimalist image to bring more to the party other than the casual observation. But I think that this has been really nicely handled and well seen.
Thank you very much. So we'll accept that score and we'll go to the next image, which is The Tale of the Wooden Egg. And we have pretty even scoring across the panel there, so I'm going to accept that score. But Chris, perhaps you make a comment for the photographer.
Oh, it's just an incredible, intriguing piece of design, really. Not really sure what the message is, but it's just beautifully constructed, intriguing, and highly original. Never seen anything like it before. Not sure what the narrative is. Extremely illustrative, very clever.
Thank you. We'll accept that and we'll move to the next image. Not all Kiwi chicks are the same. Red Hanare. Well, we better have a conversation about this one as well. So we're nearly at a 9 at 8.92. So Michael, you can bring this one away.
Yeah, I gave this a 9.2. I just find it highly original, very minimal, but also funny. I found humor in it. When your response is emotional, then it's added something more to it just being a graphic form. It becomes alive. It becomes more interesting. The mournful look on this kiwi is just. I'm looking at it and going, "Gee, I really like you," which is weird. But anyway, I liked it enough to give it a 92.
Well done. Okay, Rachel, you're nearly there. What was your score and why?
I scored this 8.9. I'm an easy talker, Mike. I find this incredibly charming. There's a great personality, and it's a really lovely portrait of. I'm actually thinking this is a live Kiwi. I'm not too sure how it's managed to be in the situation where it feels like it's a studio portrait. I find it very endearing. He's looking down his nose at me though, but I think that's my humour coming through, and so yeah, I'm happy to come up into the nines with you, Mike.
Okay, so the four of you are virtually there, so I think we'll rescore and if anyone feels like they can lift, please do. Now we're talking. Thank you, judges. This Kiwi chick will be very happy at 9.1. We'll accept that score. And next image, please. The snorkel. Well, we're pretty close to a 9 at 8.94. We have some strong support for the image, and I think we'll get Chris to take this one away. Tell us
Okay,
your score, Chris, and what's the story, mate?
yeah, I gave it 95 because, you know, the impact when you first see this is just so strong for something that's so minimalistic. Just how well does it work? It speaks of life. We immediately know what it is. Um, you know, and just what a beautiful capture talking about the life of this animal. And the snorkel, you know, the title just working actually really well as well. Yeah, incredibly effective.
Okay, a little bit lower. Rachel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I find it's very humorous. I'm enjoying that. Having seen young elephants in the water before, I can totally get that feeling of jubilation and freedom that they have when they are doing that. I guess there's just little minor distractions like the droplets on the very top edge of the frame, which are actually going as I go up the trunk. They're drawing my eye out. Actually, what did I score this? Hang on a minute. I scored at 8.5. I can come up. I'm not too sure if I can come up into gold, but I can come up.
Okay, thank you. And Lynn, you're in strong support of the image as well. What's your score and why do you think that?
Yes, I gave it 9.3. I thought it was delightful, and I love the way the water action and droplets are right across the frame, and just a little reflection there. I would be so pleased if I took this image, and I think it deserves a gold.
Okay, with that flourish of a last statement, let's rescore, shall we? And it's on 8.94 already, so let's give it a tickle, I think. Well done, troops. 9.12. Very excited photographer out there somewhere. Well done to them, and we'll accept that score. Next image. Not all Kiwi chicks are the same. Black Hotua. Yep, thank you very much. And very, very even scoring amongst you all. I'm going to accept that score. Just as a comment for the photographer, perhaps, Jackie.
Yeah. I really enjoy the space that's been created by the blacks that's disjointed all we see is the highlights coming through. Really intriguing. Just the one eye that talks about ones and very minimal. Well done.
Thank you very much. We'll accept that and we'll move to the next image. One Tree Hill. Thank you for that. Once again, we have very even scoring across the panel, so I'm going to accept that score. Just to help the photographer with a comment, Michael, perhaps?
One thing I would suggest to make it better would be to minimize the sky a little bit. It's 50-50, and I find when you've got half sky, half ground, that you've actually diluted the power of the image.
Thank you for that. I'm sure they'll take that on board. We'll accept that score. Next image, please. In the flow. Okay, thank you, judges. The score is in, and we have 8.56, which is pretty representative of the panel. But perhaps, Lynn, a comment for the photographer?
Anyway, beautiful turquoise colouring, and the surfers pin sharp. Very central, which I am not particularly comfortable with in this instance, but I think it's a very nice image.
All right, thank you for that. We will accept that score. And that was the last image in that category.